You know things are about to get weird when a yellow post-it note tells you your own driveway is public property. It started with that note stuck to my windshield. HOA says this is shared access. Don't block it again. At first, I thought it was a joke. Maybe some kid being clever. But the next morning, a silver Prius was parked across the bottom half of my driveway, angled like it was trying to win a worst parked car contest. And I couldn't pull out. I knocked on the neighbor's door. Enter Celeste. Mid-50s. Manicured within an inch of her life. And wearing a badge that said Community Ambassador. She smiled like someone who practices in the mirror. "Oh, you're the one with the car issue," she chirped. "It's not an issue. It's trespassing," I replied. "Actually," she said, tilting her head, "your driveway is partially within a community easement. According to the HOA overlay map, it's shared real estate. We all get to enjoy it." She pulled out some papers that looked like she printed them off her home printer during lunch. No seal, no letterhead, just lines and highlighter. Turns out, Celeste had recently voted herself in as vice president of our HOA, move nobody in the neighborhood remembered voting on. When I asked where she got her authority, she smirked and said, "I have friends on the HOA board. You don't want to end up non-compliant." That word non-compliant hit like a loaded threat. Over the next week, her Prius became a permanent fixture in my driveway. One day she parked it sideways like it was a barricade. The next, she put a decorative gnome next to it, holding a sign that read, "Community Unity starts here." I emailed the HOA. The reply came from an address ending in celeste@rosavua.org. Mailto, celeste@rosavua.org. Spoiler, that domain didn't exist a week earlier. So I installed a motion camera. 2 nights later, I caught her tapping the lens and giggling. That laugh belonged in a horror movie. I started digging. Checked the city records, the county assessor's office, even tracked down original developer notes. And there it was, a clause buried in the documents confirming my driveway was entirely private property. But I wasn't going to just hand her the truth. Not yet. I wanted her to step in it. So I let her play queen. She put planter boxes on my lawn. Called it a visual buffer zone. Claimed my yard had been selected as part of the HOA's beautification pilot program, which she had invented. Then came the compliance walks, where she and her 2 cousins strolled the neighborhood with clipboards, whispering to each other like HOA was short for Homeland Operation Authority. Neighbors were too scared to push back. One had been fined for a mismatched patio set. Another got a warning about sun-faded welcome mats. But the final straw. She hosted a block party. On my lawn. Tents. Tables. Lawn games. Kids and sprinklers I didn't install. A big banner hung across my garage. "Welcome to Celeste's Corner." I confronted her. "You're trespassing. We're community building," she said, handing me a name tag that read, "Grumpy Neighbor 4." Enough was enough. I printed out the clause proving my driveway was mine, not hers, not the HOA's. And then I went a step further. I dug into HOA bylaws, the ancient kind written on dot matrix paper back in 1987. Buried in there, a rule that said any self-appointed leadership must be ratified by 3 households within 60 days. Celeste had none. So I waited for her biggest stunt. And that came in the form of HOA Unity Day, her self-declared holiday complete with mandatory attendance and a speech titled Order, Not Oppression. I offered to handle tech support. What she didn't know, I had prepared my own slideshow. As she spoke about structure and shared values, I hit play. Slide 1, her forged election. Slide 2, video of her declaring herself president in a one-person Zoom call. Slide 3, the real overlay map. Slide 4, emails she sent from fake domains. Slide 5, neighbors reading their fake violation letters out loud, dramatic style. People gasped, then laughed, then applauded. And then someone shouted, "I move for a vote of no confidence." The count, 43-0. Not even her cousins backed her up. She tried to sue the HOA after that. Claimed defamation, emotional trauma, clipboard depreciation, I kid you not. But in her lawsuit, she submitted all her files and exposed herself for embezzling over $11,000 from the HOA budget. The county launched a full audit, found surveillance devices she planted in gardens, birdhouses, even a gnome with a camera eye. She was charged with illegal surveillance, misuse of funds, and kicked out of the HOA permanently. Her house was eventually sold to Janet, the original HOA secretary Celeste forced out. Janet threw a block party on day 1. The theme, flamingos and freedom. We rewrote the HOA bylaws with one new clause. Anyone removed for misconduct shall be permanently banned from leadership. We called it the Celeste Clause. But she tried to come back, burner accounts, anonymous suggestions. One even used the phrase decorum normalization. We traced it back, publicly posted her history on the community board. Her email stopped. Then she moved to a new neighborhood. But thanks to our experience, that HOA was ready. They adopted the same clause. When she ran for election there, the vote was 112-3. One was hers. The others were disqualified. In the end, Celeste became a suburban ghost. Her legacy, a cautionary tale printed in HOA newsletters across the state. All because she thought a driveway was community property. If you've ever dealt with a neighbor like this, tell me in the comments. What happened? And how would you have handled it? Let's hear your wildest HOA horror stories.